but rather at a London hospital. Even though Meghan had let it be known she wanted a home birth, it was probably very realistic that her first child at 37, it was going to be born in hospital.
You're not ready for this bombshell because Buckingham Palace? Oh, they didn't just whisper a vague statement or push out a boring press release. No, they dropped what insiders are calling the ultimate proof. Official documents, people. Documents that aren't just throwing shade. They're setting fire to the entire narrative around Archie and Lilibet's royal status. This isn't a typo in a birth record or a quiet change in the background. This is a declaration, a final strike, a direct hit, a message so sharp it cuts through the royal silk with steel. The monarchy, it just drew a bold, cold line in the sand.
Today's video. So at the time, Archie Mountbatten Windsor was born May 6, 2019. And this was surrounded by controversy, largely to the unconventional decision.
Okay, deep breath. Let's rewind this royal mess. Why does this matter? Because from day one, Meghan and Harry's kids arrived shrouded in mystery. No palace-endorsed baby photos, no traditional hospital photo op beneath the royal banners. It felt patched together. Meghan always said, it's about privacy. But if that were true, why did the palace quietly freak out? Because now we're hearing whispers that Meghan's version of privacy might have been a cover for something way bigger. Remember the drama around Archie's birth certificate? Meghan didn't just tweak her name, she removed Rachel Meghan completely and swapped it with Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. That's not just a detail, that's a legal repositioning. Meghan swore the palace made her do it. But the palace aides, they clapped back fast, denying it. So people started asking, why change it at all? Was it just about appearances? Or was she insulating herself and the kids legally? That little tweak in ink, it planted a seed. And honey, that seed has now grown into a full-blown constitutional disaster tree. Then came Lilibet in 2021, and baby, chaos turned to confusion real fast. No official baby photos, no crowd waving flags at the gates, just a flat press release from California. The bump? It didn't even line up with real-world timelines. People were zooming in on pixelated photos, comparing paparazzi footage, spotting inconsistencies, bump shifts, odd belt loops, shadows that didn't add up. Critics started calling it birth pantomime. But let's be honest, royal births aren't private. They're historic events with doctors, security, photographers, timing down to the minute. This wasn't about keeping things close to the chest. This was intentional smoke and mirrors.
They're focused on healthcare for women and children. Other royals have been born at Portland Hospital, including Harry's cousin.
And now, buckle up, because today we're facing what insiders are calling final, damning, and absolutely unshakable proof, the kind that rattles the very bones of the monarchy. It all comes back to the 1917 letters patent, that ironclad rulebook that governs royal bloodlines, titles, and legitimacy. According to it, titles don't just get handed out like party favors. Therefore, legitimate royal children, born properly within royal protocol under the institution's framework. If those requirements aren't met, no title. End of story, no gossip, no speculation, just constitutional law. And this isn't about payback, it's about survival. Meghan and Harry challenged the crown, threw out accusations of racism, neglect, emotional trauma. The palace? They stayed silent, they kept receipts, now they're done waiting. Legal teams are locked and loaded, titles, privileges, royal protections, all lined up to be stripped. One deliberate move, no going back. Think about the magnitude of that. Taking Archie and Lilibet off the royal books, it's not just names, it's erasing them from the royal story. No duties, no nursery access at Sandringham, no security, no honors, nothing. Just two names floating with no official pedigree. And Meghan? Oh, this cracks her whole brand. She built an entire empire on being the royal mom. Netflix specials, podcasts, wellness lines dripping with Duchess vibes. No titles means no Duchess, no platform. And the timing couldn't be colder. Just when she was launching her soft pastel, jam and baby laughter rebrand from her American Riviera orchard, the palace was filing documents that slammed the door shut. Insiders say King Charles personally collected files, birth date red flags, fishy christening paperwork. He's traced every anomaly and misstep. And now he's flipping the switch. Silence is out. Precision is in. No emotional statements, no press drama, just cold, calculated paperwork. Court filings, family division records, modified birth registries, all coming out publicly and permanently. Once the titles go, the palace will slip in a court circular note explaining who's affected and why. The message? This family may have walked away, but the crown? Oh, it's walking right past them. And Harry? He's spiraling, calling palace aides in the dead of night, begging for time. for clarity, for mercy. But the answer? It's not negotiable. Not now, not ever. The royal line isn't about emotions, it's about legacy. And the monarchy? It's always adapted, through wars, abdications, scandal after scandal. And every time it draws the line between loyalty and legacy. Remove those titles. The kids lose succession rights. Say goodbye to state-funded protection. Their profiles get erased from royal websites, charities, events, official archives. Gone. Overnight, they go from royal to regular. It's not just a title loss, it's identity theft, served legally.
Confused. Shortly before 2 p.m. yesterday, Buckingham Palace announced that Meghan had gone into labour. Then, 40 minutes later, confirmed the baby's arrival. Yet the Sussex Royal Instagram account...
And let's not sugarcoat it, this is a full-on earthquake for Meghan. No title? That strips her of the moral right to speak as a royal, act as a royal, market like a royal. She's left peddling jam and lavender-scented newsletters. And sure, she might still sell lifestyle vibes, but billion-dollar deals built on a duchess identity crumble. Poof, gone. You can't keep cashing in on royal insight if the institution says you never qualified. And her silence? It's not serenity. It's panic. All those carefully filtered garden photos of smiling babies, that cottagecore dream, it's distraction, because behind that smile is collapse. And Harry? Oh, he's rocked to his core. He thought he was shielding his children from the toxic weight of royalty. Instead, he might have sealed their fate, locking them out of it forever. Sources say he's pacing rooms in California, replaying everything. The birth certificates, the christenings, the dates that never quite made sense. And all he can mutter is, it wasn't supposed to go like this. Not like this. But guess what? The monarchy doesn't move with feelings. It moves with law, facts, precedent. This isn't about pain. It's about protection of the system. You think the monarchy's a brand? Number, it's a constitutional machine, ruthless in its order, meticulous in its rules. There's no PR spin that can override that. And when someone breaks from the rules, the institution doesn't crumble. It resets, quietly, from within. Only this time, it's fixing itself from the outside. When the final announcement drops, and yes, it's coming, it won't be dramatic, just a court circular note, or maybe a title line change. But make no mistake, it will hit like thunder. Analysts, historians, commentators will light up because this isn't just rare, it's unprecedented. But for the palace, it's simple. If you can't legally call a child royal, then the child isn't royal. Period. Let's talk legal groundwork. Behind the scenes, palace lawyers, senior court officials, constitutional consultants, they've been mobilizing in total stealth. Every irregularity in the baby registrations, flagged. The christenings, rechecked. International laws, cross-referenced. If Archie or Lilibet were born without proper British oversight, or worse, through undocumented private arrangements, then guess what? The palace can retroactively nullify their titles. And then, that tiny prince becomes no one. All it takes is legal footnotes, not drama, not scandal.
He was born at home at Frogmore Cottage in Windsor, or whether he was indeed.
And the optics? Don't expect fireworks. There won't be a dramatic press release or a royal firing statement. Nope. It'll be subtle, surgical, a quiet update in the court circular. Princess Lilibet will henceforth be styled Miss Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor. That's it. No fanfare. Just silence and a paper trail that says, we've taken control back. It's clean, but oh, it's cold. And it ripples. Hollywood, Wall Street, they're watching closely. Because let's face it, Meghan and Harry's multi-million-dollar deals, all hinged on being royalty adjacent. Once that link snaps, the magic's gone. No one wants royalty-inspired wellness. No one's investing in Duchess-themed podcasts if there's no Duchess. The demand dies. And advisors, they're sweating. Because projects in progress, Netflix sequels, podcasts, public speaking gigs are suddenly unstable. The Duchess draw disappears. Imagine pitching Diary of a Duchess now in a London boardroom. Would they even open the email? Nope. Events like Diamond Jubilees, coronations, major royal charities completely sealed off. Meghan and Harry and their children no longer qualify. It doesn't need to be harsh. It's just over. That disconnection, it slices deeper than any headline. And while the palace handles this with legal gloves, the human fallout, devastating. Sources say Harry looks lost. He's traveling alone, no real schedule, avoiding press, avoiding people, not the confident speaker we saw before, not even the bruised prince, just a father, alone, reeling. He's been sobbing to close friends about how he used to dream of Archie wearing a miniature prince's sash one day. That dream, gone. And when he says, they're still my kids, it breaks people because you can hear the heartbreak in those 6 words. Meanwhile, Meghan, She's cracking in her own way. She wakes up every day to perfectly curated Instagram-ready photos of her children. But she knows, those photos won't hang in Windsor. Not ever. They live in a digital fairy tale. But in real royal history, they've been erased. And that dissonance, it's soul-crushing. There were talks, yes, real ones, that Meghan might fight back legally, release her own documents, challenge the palace in court. But her advisors warned her. It might explode in her face. Court proceedings, depositions, confidential records dragged into the spotlight. The risks are too high, so she stayed silent. But the public, they notice. And in silence, they see surrender. Now the palace gears turn. Early next month, a constitutional review is scheduled, aimed at foreign-born royals. The outcome? It won't revoke citizenship, but it can permanently block royal styling and access. No state security, no royal invites, no roles. These children, they'll be family, but never firm. They might show up in Meghan's family album, but they won't be in royal records. And history doesn't bend for emotion. Look back. Remember that lesser-known duke who drifted from the royal storyline after scandal? His name lived on in books, but not in parades, not in invitations. He was quietly cut off. That's what's happening now. Meghan and Harry are re-entering regular life, but this time without the safety net of royal legacy. And here's the kicker. Without that royal insurance, bodyguard costs skyrocket. Travel gets complicated. Every brand deal, every tweet, every podcast line, suddenly questionable. They're caught between being former royals and current celebrities. And the public might not accept either. So what's left? So what's the end game here? Let's be clear. Buckingham Palace isn't out here chasing emotional apologies. They're not asking Harry to get on one knee and beg. No, no. What they're after is structure, clarity, clean boundaries. This isn't revenge, it's preservation. Preservation of titles, of succession, of the monarchy itself. Because once you allow one piece of that tradition to fall apart, whether it's a name, a title, or a christening, it's like pulling the first thread from a centuries-old tapestry. Everything risks unraveling, and fixing that isn't a press conference. It's policy, clause by clause, document by document. The path back doesn't even exist anymore. Want back in? Relinquish everything, fully, officially, forever, and live as civilians. Because the British monarchy, it doesn't compromise with chaos. So here's the brutal truth Meghan and Harry have to swallow. It's 2025. You walked out. Now, the institution is shutting the door behind you. What do you build when the foundation's been removed? All those sponsorships, collaborations, books, Netflix spin-offs, they were built on a specific image. Duchess, prince, royal insiders gone rogue. But now, you're just two ex-royals living in a California mansion, and the crown is making sure the world knows you don't carry the name anymore. And there's no pause button, no do-over. Birthday parties, TV shows, tours, all of it now has to live in a world where the word royal can't legally apply. And look, let's not act like the palace is throwing a tantrum. This isn't a war, it's just strategy. The kind of silent, ice-cold, document-driven strategy that rewrites public identity without ever raising its voice. Harry and Meghan were once part of a modern fairy tale. They had the world captivated. But fairy tales? They only last as long as the crown says they do. Sometimes they end with a kiss in a castle, and sometimes they end with a quiet court filing and a missing title line. This question mark is that ending. The monarchy isn't fighting, it's reforming, quietly, legally, permanently. For Harry and Meghan, what comes next won't be a comeback. It'll have to be a complete reinvention. And the hardest part? You can't reinvent something when the very thing that gave it power has been taken away.